everybody. Whew, I'm a mess. I I hope you can see me. Whew, I'm a mess. Maybe I don't hope you can see me. I think I know I've shared before that my younger son is training to be ready for soccer when he goes to college in August, and they have a very specific training program for them. And so I have been out at the track 3 mornings a week running with him. Let me be clear, I'm running with him. I'm not, certainly not doing what he is doing, because what he is doing is just massive. But I'm out there running sprints with him and pacing him on his miles. I haven't run really in just years, and my knees are going, what are you doing? Um, but um, but it's fun, and and it's scary because I am learning how far I can push my body. At almost 50 years old, I am learning how far I can push my body, and um, I'm learning to trust myself. I'm learning to trust my inner voice. I always trust them. That's easy. It wasn't always easy, but it's easy. But I'm learning to trust me, and I now I'm on my way. Today is a full outdoors day, so now I'm on my way to the river to work with Save the Manatees, to help protect the manatees for the afternoon, and then I'll finally get back in my office tonight. But I wanted to make sure that I took a few minutes to connect with you, and the sun is coming back out, so I hope you can see me. I wanted to take a few minutes to connect, because when I pulled the cards this morning, I just had to laugh, because here's the first card. Is courage. And so this is our grounding card, our anchor card, is courage. And I had to just laugh because I shared last week about the story with the caterpillar and having patience, because the track that we had been training at was all of a sudden closed for a camp, and the coach was really nasty to us. And so we ended up at this local high school where we had a great time. Dylan ran into one of his old buddies, and it was really nice. There's the track is concrete. It's not as nice, but our original plan was that I was going to take my rollerblades out there when our older son was training and doing this for his college preparation. I would go rollerblading with him, because I always loved rollerblading, and it was easier on my knees. But at those red tracks, those fabricated materials, you can't rollerblade on those. So when we got pushed off to this other high school track, they have a concrete track, and so Dylan said, hey, this week we could have gone back to the first place, and he said, no, let's stay at the high school. You can bring your rollerblades. And so in running his miles today, I had my blades on, and I'm telling you what, I couldn't catch him. And I was going as fast as I could go. And, but it was exhilarating, because you have to really pay attention. I haven't been on my rollerblades really since I was helping train Eli for his college 3 years ago. And you have to really pay attention. And I was trying to catch him. I genuinely was trying to catch him, but I was afraid, because I'm not 20, and if I fall down, I need to be prepared for that, and I need to make sure that I know, if you trip on something when you're on wheels, where you roll towards the grass. So, and just having that preparedness. And so I was just laughing, because Dylan had said on Friday that when we came out this week, I should bring my rollerblades. And so we had a great time. But I was laughing that, of course, courage was the card that came up this morning. Was the very first card, was courage. And I was just laughing about that. And then creative, this is creative writing, but when I heard it in my head, it was creative project. And there is another card in this deck that is creative project. And so it just continues to come up, and I know it's coming up for me, but I know it's coming up for so many of you that I talk to, that talk to me about this place in your life where you're reinventing yourself, where it seems like so many people are coming to this place where they're having to reinvent themselves, where they're coming into a new job or a new identity, or a job they've been doing is over and they're moving into a new position, or a new maybe it's a contract work and it's done, the contract is over and it's time to move to the next project. And it's so many people are shifting right now, and it has been for several months, and I feel so strongly that the reason so many people are shifting into these new identities and into new places of how do I define myself if I define myself by my job, how am I defining myself, and to these new opportunities, I really feel is to prepare us for the next the next decade. It's 2019. We're coming into a new decade before we know it, and really to just come into a new place. So with the new decade, it's going to bring new elections, and I really feel like that there is so much that is shifting for us, that the status quo, and this has been the shakeup really since the last election, is the status quo is no longer enough. It's no longer enough to sit on the sidelines of our lives. It's no longer enough for us to watch the world go by. We must get involved and get engaged. And I'm not necessarily talking about politics. I'm talking about get involved in your life. Get involved in the connection of the lives of the people around you. Do you know your neighbors? Do you know your coworkers? Do you know what's going on with the people around you? Do you take the opportunity to put your heart over the line and get involved with the lives of the people around you? And so for me, everything that I heard about this card, the creative writing card, it wasn't necessarily about you have to sit down and write a book. And yes, I know that pertains to me, but the more information that comes from that card is about sharing our heart. And so I keep hearing in my head about journaling and sharing our true feelings and getting in touch with our true feelings and allowing ourselves to shift into new roles and to new positions, but then allowing that to be shared with the wider space. Yesterday we went to see the musical Come From Away, the Broadway musical, and I got to tell you, I have been waiting and waiting to see. We bought the tickets months ago. I've been so excited to see this show, and it's about, if you don't know what it's about a tiny, tiny town in Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, which is, if you go up to Maine and you go past Maine northeast, it's a half an hour. They have their own time zone. It's a half an hour east of the northern part of Maine. And got to go there when I lived in Maine and got to know some people from there. And it's a place unto itself. And it's beautiful. But it's a tiny, tiny little town where in the aftermath of 9/11, like on that day, more than 30 planes were diverted to this tiny town, and 7,000 people were stuck there for a week while the U.S. airspace was closed. And I remember my husband was supposed to fly that day. He was leaving that morning that evening on a tour with Boz Scaggs. I remember that my director debut as a Mary Kay sales director, I was having my grand debut that night that obviously shifted, and all of the top sales directors at Mary Kay were on their trip that they win and that they earn, and they were all stuck in England. It was just so many memories that came up. In our generation, it's a seminal moment in our history that we know exactly where we were, exactly what we were doing that morning, and we probably can all say that. And I knew that seeing this show was going to bring up so many memories, and it was so beautifully done. If you have the opportunity to see it, it was so beautifully done. And it is waves. It was so well paced that you are crying and laughing, in alternates. And it gets heavy, and then someone cracks a joke, and then it gets heavy and someone cracks a joke. And it was just so beautifully done. But in one of the songs, one of the lines was, "Who am I if I'm not who I was yesterday?" Because all of us were profoundly changed by this event. Our world has profoundly changed because of this event. And even the people who were not impacted because they were, I don't want to say not impacted because everyone was impacted, but the people on the planes, I mean, we just don't even realize like the fear, and because they had no idea what was going on. Because for all the time that they were stuck on the planes for like 30 hours, they were on the ground in Nova Scotia, but they were stuck on the planes. They had no news. They had no idea what was going on. And then they were taken by military escorts to, places, to shelters, and they still had no idea what was going on. I mean, just the confusion and the fear. And it resonates because there's so much of that that's going on in our world right now, especially in our country with immigration issues and things like that. But if I'm not, who am I if I'm not who I was yesterday? And that kept rolling around and rolling around. And, if you know me, I've always got a journal in my bag. And so I pulled out my journal, even in the dark, and I was writing that down because I didn't want to forget this quote. And so it come back to all these people that are shifting. We're all shifting. We're redefining ourselves. We're taking on new roles. We're trying new things. We're having courage. We're sharing our hearts, because that is really where society is evolving, and what we're being called to do, and who we're being called to become. Because it's no longer comfortable for us to stay in our cubicles or to stay in the boxes of what we have always known to be true. And this is the time of the raising the vibration, and more people coming to see light and love, and more people coming to embrace a different view of themselves and a different view of the world. Because when we can come from that place of love, everything shifts. But we have to allow ourselves to shift first. And so it's been magnificent to have these conversations with people, so many people, to be able to say, what is it that you want to share with the world? And what resonance, what energy do you want to put out? What gift do you want to share? Because so many of us have been made to feel uncomfortable in what we've always known to be true, and are asking ourselves this question: who am I now? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to become if I'm not who I was yesterday? And so then the third card came, of course, is passion. And we've seen this card before. And remember, it's not about sexual passion, but it's about passion of the heart. What is it that sparks you? What is it that makes you want to get up out of bed every morning and do something that changes the world, that changes you? Because the money will come if you're following your passion and you're putting out blessing to the world and you're helping others and you're doing something that really sparks you and drives you. The money will come. But what is it that's in that place for you? Do you want to train dogs? Do you want to make lunches for kids who can't have lunch because it's summer and school's out, and the school lunch was the main source of their food? Or do you want to pick up trash? There was 500-600 divers that picked up 1,500 pounds of trash in Fort Lauderdale this weekend. And we do cleanups at Blue Springs where the manatees are. I know when I'm in my kayak, if I can reach it, I will get it wherever I go kayaking. If it's trash and I can reach it without tipping over or getting bit by an alligator, I will grab it. What is it that you can do? What is it that sparks your heart, that makes you want to reach out and do something and change the vibration in the world around you? Follow the passion, always to follow the passion. And so I picked a postcard this morning, and we were getting up, we were going to the track, and I didn't even have a chance to read it. And I just asked, when I put my hand in the box, I said, please guide me to the right card. So I don't even know what it says. So we'll find out together. It says, there is balance between activity and rest, ebb and flow. You can't have one without the other. If you are faced with an obstacle right now, the best course is to surrender and non-resistance. Soon enough, you'll see how easy it is to flow around it. Now is one of those times when you must trust the river of your life. Go with the flow, and in no time you'll reach what you have your heart and hopes set on. Just remember, Spirit will keep your head above water and will direct the currents. When it's time for greater effort, you will know exactly when it's time for a greater effort, you'll know exactly when you'll need to work those manifesting muscles. It can be challenging to master the flow cycles of your life, but as you develop your skills, affluence will be yours. Enjoy the flow, trust those currents, for we're right there with you with our little umbrella drinks, smiling at your success. Love you so very much. I love these postcards from the universe from Colette Baron Reid. I love them. I think they're so fantastic. And I gotta say that I love that message, because truly when you are having courage and you are exploring through journaling or writing, or even just conversation of what it is that's truly in your heart and following your passion, the universe will take care of the rest. The universe will guide you. When you are in flow and you allow, the universe will take care of the rest. And always, we look at these things as bumps in the road that come, and we think it's a negative. And if you can teach yourself, when a negative thing happens, something we perceive as negative, our first instinct is to go and to gird ourselves against it and to resist it, or how am I going to fight this or overcome it? If you can teach yourself to take a breath and just, what is this? Where am I being redirected? What is this that's trying to show me? It is always something better. It is always something better. But we are so conditioned to resist and fight and overcome that we often miss what the universe is trying to bless us with. So as you move forward, as you have courage and you tap into your passions, there will be bumps. There will always be bumps. But what is it take those opportunities where you can take that breath. What is the universe trying to show me? Where am I supposed to be guided? What is the redirect that the universe is trying to send me something better? Because I promise you it's always something better. So if I can help, because it has been a joy and a blessing to me to be able to have these conversations with people who are redirecting, people who are finding that passion, who are redefining and rediscovering themselves. If I'm not who I was yesterday, who am I? If that's a conversation that you're ready to have, please let me know. I would be so honored to help you. I hope you have a fantastic week. And now I am off to the manatees. Bye, Robin.